Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be studying Canto 3, Chapter 24. Yesterday we studied the verse about Brahma. He told Devahuti that and slash the knot of ignorance.
I think it's text 19 today.
Keep losing my spot. We'll work on that.
Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Okay? This is this one. O Karma, restore all his desire. We travel all over the world. So as you said, today is text 19.
Ayam
Siddhagana
Siddhagana
Advishaha
Advishaha
Sankhya
Sankhya Acharyahi
Susamataha
Susumataha
Loke Kapilahayate
Kapilahati
Akyam
Ganta Te
Kirti
Vardhanaha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha Sankhyacharyaisu
Sankhyacharyaisu
Loke Kapila
Ityakyam
Gantate
Kirtivardhanaha
Ayam
Siddhaganadisha Sankhyacharyaisu Sammataha
Loke Kapila Ityakyam Gantate Kirtivardhanaha Ayam Siddhaganadisha Sankhyacharyaisu Sammataha Loke Kapila Ityakyam Gantate Kirtivardhanaha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha Ayam Siddhaganadisha Ayam Siddhaganadisha Sankhyacharyaisu Susmataha Loke Kapila Ityakyam Gantate
Kirtivardhanaha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha Sankhyacharyaisu Sammataha Loke Kapila Ityakyam Gantate Kirtivardhanaha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
Susamata
Acharya Susamata
Loke Kapila Iti Akyam
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
Yamtate Kedati Radhana Ayam Siddhaganadisha
Samkhya Acharya Sumataha
Sankhya Samata
Loke Kapila Ityakhyam
Loke Kapila Ityakam
Kantate Kirtivardhanaha
Gandhate Kirtivardhana
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
Aham Siddhaganadisha
Sankhya Susamata
Sankhya Samata
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
Nikantate Kirtivardhanaha.
Gandhate Kirtivardhana
Sorry, Mangala Mataji.
Ayam Siddha Ganadhishaha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
Sankhyaacharya Susammataha
Sankhya Susamata
Loke Kapila Ityakhyam
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
Ghantate Kirtivardhanaha
Kantate Kirtivardhana. Mother Rashna.
Krishna. Ayam Siddha Ganadhisha
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
Sankhyaacharya Susammataha
Sankhya Susamata
Loke Kapila Ityakhyam
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
Gantate Kirtivardhanaha.
Kantate Kirtivardhana. Priya Jaiswal.
अयं सिद्धगणाधीशः
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
साङ्ख्याचार्यैः सुसम्मतः
Sankhya Susamata
लोके कपिल इत्याख्याम्
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
गन्ताते कीर्तिवर्धनः
Kantate Kirtivardhana. Jyoti Kokani.
अयं सिद्धगणाधीशः
Ayam Siddhaganadisha
साङ्ख्याचार्यैः सुसम्मतः
Sankhya
Samata
लोके कपिल इति आख्याम्
Loke Kapila Ityakyam
गन्ताते कीर्तिवर्धनः
Kantate Kirtivardhana. That's everyone. I am
this personality of Godhead,
this personality of Godhead,
Siddhagana
Siddhagana
of the perfected sages,
of the perfected sages,
Adhishaha
Adhishaha,
the head,
the head,
Sankhya
Sankhya
Acharyahi
Acharyahi,
by Acharyas expert in Sankhya philosophy,
by Acharyas, expert in Sankhya philosophy,
Susamataha
Susamataha,
approved according to Vedic principles,
approved according to Vedic principles,
Loke
Loke,
in the world, Kapilaha iti
Kapilaha iti,
as Kapila, Akyam
Akyam,
celebrated, Ganta
Kanta,
he will go about,
Te,
your
Kirti,
fame, Vardhanaha
increasing.
Translation. Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the Acharya, and among the people he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame. Purport. Sankhya philosophy is the philosophical system enunciated by Kapila, the son of Devahuti. The other Kapila, who is not the son of Devahuti, is an imitation. This is the statement of Brahma. And because we belong to Brahma's disciplic succession, we should accept his statement that the real Kapila is the son of Devahuti, and that real Sankhya philosophy is the system of philosophy which he introduced, and which will be accepted by the Acharyas, the directors of spiritual discipline. The word susamata means, quote, accepted by persons who are counted upon to give their good opinion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, Dhanavir Maharaj, we're very eager to hear from you, or Krishna Shravana Prabhu. Please let us know. So, in this verse, Lord Brahma is extolling the glories of Kapila Muni, who will be the son of Devahuti and Kardama. And here he's described as being the head of all the perfected sages. Siddhagana Adisha. Siddhagana Adisha. Adisha means the head, and Siddhagana means the perfected sages. Siddhagana Adisha. Siddhagana Adisha. Right? And he's also known as the second line here, Sankhyacharyai Susamata. Susammata. Susammata. Sankhyacharyai Susammata. So that means he will be approved, right? He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge. Susammata. Susammata. So this means accepted by persons who are counted upon to give their good opinion. And this is actually one of the underlying principles of the Vedic Varnashram Dharma system, or the Vedic culture. The Vedic culture is based on getting good opinions. And the best of opinions come from he whose opinion is reality, which is Krishna. It's said that Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate, and that his energies, his various energies are executing his will automatically. And actually we can understand that this is what it means to be God. This is what it means to be powerful for anybody. As soon as they will it, then their will becomes reality. To the extent that their will can become reality, that extent they are generally considered powerful in this world. Of course, when we come to transcendental knowledge, then we can understand, actually, I'm not the ultimate doer. I'm simply a part of the system, and the ultimate doer is actually Krishna, and he is the ultimate sanctioner of all activities and the permitter. And in order for my will to be executed, then I have to have so much help from him and his agents, or else it's not even possible for me to execute my own will. And that's the fallacy behind this whole willpower topic. That, people say, well, you have to have the willpower. That then you can do. They tell you when you're a boy, whatever you set your mind to, Jimmy John, you can do it. I believe in you. Mommy believes in you. If you want to be an astronaut, Jimmy John, you can be one. Don't let anybody stop you. And Jimmy John says, well, I want to be a trash collector. Then his mom says, that's not very nice. So, of course, that's normal, that different people will have different inclinations. And that's the whole purpose of the Varnashram Dharma. And everybody's personal inclinations are fanned by association with the sadhus and the spiritual master and the those who give good opinions. Susammata. By association with those persons, then somebody can actually learn what is their nature and what they should cultivate, what kind of work and what kind of qualities they should cultivate. They should get training. Prabhupada said so many times about this word training, culture, training, behavior, training, communication, training. The most important training is to surrender to the Supreme Lord and engage in his devotional service. So opinions about training in the spiritual line, Prabhupada says here, accepted by the acharyas, this is a cool definition, the directors of spiritual discipline. That's a cool title. Director of spiritual discipline. Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the foremost director of spiritual discipline in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So this Acharya, this director of spiritual discipline. So this whole word discipline, it means disciple, and disciple has no meaning without obedience, right? So therefore these institutions are ultimately meant for creating this type of attitude of obedience within the persons who participate in this temple. And that's this idea, training, right? And it's good for us because it means that my own opinion, which is inevitably or invariably contaminated with some lower selfish consciousness, I can get good opinions from people who have no contamination. Right? Bhagavad Bhakta. There's this word, by associating with such people who are completely free from all selfishness and contamination, then we get faith. Right? We were speaking about that yesterday. So Kapila Muni will be the foremost of all such persons. Sankhyacharyai Siddhagnadisha Sankhyacharyai Susammata. Right? He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge. And among the people he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame. So Prabhupada actually takes the purport and he's emphasizing this point of receiving knowledge in disciplic succession and accepting the version of our current or our authorities in our line. He mentions this. Because we belong to Brahma's disciplic succession, we should accept his statement that the real Kapila is the son of Devahuti, and that real Sankhya philosophy is a system of philosophy which he introduced and which will be accepted by the acharyas, the directors of spiritual discipline. So there are many other topics. There are not just this one. This one gets mentioned in the Gita purports. We read it. This one gets mentioned a few places in the past few chapters, right? And such a person, this so-called Kapila, who has a different philosophy about Sankhya Yoga, so-called Sankhya, he became famous amongst the materialists, or amongst this material world. But Prabhupada makes sure to clarify that this person is not the person who we should learn the Sankhya from. It is the son of Devahuti. That is the actual Kapila Dev to learn from. And many such other topics are there that other people in the world have competing or differing views, right? And it's very comforting to know that if it was important for us as ISKCON Bhaktas and fledgling sadhakas in Kali Yuga, circa 2026, if it was important for us to know, then Prabhupada put it in his books. And this is this idea. One time we were having a class, and the devotees were a little bit fired up from Harinam, and they were fired up. So then when it came time for questions in the class, the devotees were kind of having all types of questions and kind of stepping away from what Prabhupada was explaining. And we got an instruction at that time from His Holiness Dandavir Maharaj that we should ask questions about what is there, not about what isn't there. And this is the concept that if we just try to understand what Prabhupada did give us, the clarity, the precision, the intricacies, the spiritual discipline, the priorities, the value system, the culture that he did try to give us, right? We have a lifetime, more than a lifetime's worth of knowledge to try to understand. If we try to understand everything that he didn't talk about, right, and why, then we may lose the opportunity to become submissive disciples of his divine grace. And so that's discussed in the 4th chapter purports to the verse of 34 of Bhagavad Gita, that absurd inquiries are also rejected. So we're lucky that Prabhupada takes the time to re-emphasize the principle here, because we're coming in Brahma's disciplic succession, and Brahma's version is that Devahuti Putra, the son of Devahuti, is the real Kapila to learn Sankhya from. We don't have to worry about making that determination. Say, well, what did that other Kapila talk about? And maybe I should check that out and see if it's right. And that actually goes into this point. And it strikes me very deeply. There was a conversation that we hear about. It was a Prabhupada memory, and the devotee was describing that Prabhupada told him that after coming to devotional service, which we heard yesterday in the 9th chapter, 2nd text of Bhagavad Gita, Rajo Vidya Rajaguyam, right? The king of education and the king of secrets, the most confidential of all knowledge. Pavitram, pure. Idam uttamam, the topmost pure knowledge. if we continue to dabble, this devotee was describing that he got this impression from Prabhupada. No, I don't have more of a reference than that. But he said that Prabhupada told him that when we indulge too much in comparative philosophy after coming to the real substance of Bhagavad Gita, then we're simply doing sense gratification. Well, let me check this out over here and see what they're up to. See what they think about this. And then I'll check these guys out and I'll kind of maintain a distance from really adopting the principles of Bhagavad Gita, even though I know Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sarvadharmam parityaja, mam ekam sharanam braja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma ashucha. Do not worry, do not hesitate, do not fear. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. So after getting that message from Krishna, right, and I continue poking around in all these other sciences and all these other traditions, not accepting that principle of surrender, exemplified by adoption to Srila Prabhupada's transcendental sadhana program. What is, you can say, somebody can say, what does it mean to surrender to Krishna? I already surrendered to Krishna. Very good. But how do we know? Right? What does it look like? Well, it looks like following the instructions of the director of spiritual discipline. So then we can know how much we are actually surrendering to Krishna by understanding how much we are adhering to or obedient to the director of spiritual discipline, the Acharya. Right? So then there was a lecture that that I came across recently, that His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was speaking. He said, if you don't do the morning program, you're finished. And that resonates deeply, because as we lose touch with an early sadhana package, which includes so much worship of Tulsi, darshan of the deities, association with Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's transcendental Guru Bhakti Bhav, association with, Lord Nrsimhadev's protection, through his glorification, and obeisances to the Vaishnavas, and hearing the transcendental pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Of course, that's what we do here. There can be, a few changes here and there, based on the community. And japa, and seeing the deities freshly bathed and dressed and fresh as the morning dew, and worshiping Srila Prabhupada and Guru Puja, and pouring out our fledgling desire to become assistant to his servants, and glorious Nam Sankirtan Bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur, which is completely resplendent with all the purports of the Vedas in one tasty bhajan, and Srimad Bhagavatam class, where we glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Jai Radha Madhava, and we chant congregationally the Sanskrit words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which are as good as Krishna's transcendental body. We associate with him through the ear, and we taste the nectar of that sound, and it purifies our heart, and it brings us closer and closer to fixedness and devotional service. So all of these transcendental aspects of the morning program, they save us from Maya all day long, right? So this is the idea, is that if we have come in contact with this science and we heard, but we didn't take it up, then as we heard in the purports yesterday, we're unfortunate. We're unfortunate. So the idea is to make others fortunate. This is an amazing movement. Make everybody fortunate. Why? By giving them a way to please those who are completely free from all contamination. If we give somebody the opportunity, repeatedly, as much as possible, the opportunity to make Prabhupada pleased with them, then they can get faith in the process of devotional service. To associate with such a person, and then to please that person, one will get some faith in the path of bhakti. So that's our mission, that's our movement, is to give people faith in Krishna and the spiritual master so that they may make their lives perfect. Thank you very much for tolerating me. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Jagannath Prabhu.
I have a question about, so what is the difference between following and imitating?
Yeah, following and imitating is very interesting. I heard a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave at a big event, and he was speaking about Bhagavata. A Bhagavata, he used the verse Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihasani Shunichaiva Shripakecha Pandita Samadharshina. He used that verse in connection with Bhagavata, Uttama Adhikari, Radharani. He spoke. She thinks everybody is devotee. I'm not a devotee. Everybody's a better devotee than me. He said, do not imitate that. We have to come from Kanishta Adhikari, which means we don't really know anything about serving the devotees, right? We just know about serving the deity. We have a little faith in the process of devotional service. By their association and our innocence, we got connected and we have a little inclination for these types of activities. We think they're nice, but we don't really understand the Shastra. So we're just practicing. But Prabhupada encourages us, come to the second class platform where you have firm faith in the process of devotional service, right? And you never be shaken off of that faith. But what is the characteristics of that person? He loves the Lord. He serves the Lord. Right? You say he serves the Lord. He worships the Lord. He becomes friends with the devotees. Right? So then he rejects or he avoids the atheist, envious people, and he gives mercy to the innocent. So this movement is meant to be a movement of Madhyama Adhikaris who live their life doing these four things. And by that way, we can actually increase the family. And that brings the most joy to Krishna and the Parampara. So we want to not imitate a very high level of spiritual realization and think that, actually I'm seeing Krishna everywhere. I'm seeing Krishna everywhere. I'm not. But I can become friends of the devotees. At least that. I can worship the Lord at least that, I can avoid the atheist and say, good day, sir, and go on my way, and I can become very merciful to those who are innocent. So the difference between imitating and following, I didn't exactly address it, but I kind of gave the import there. Yeah?
1 second. Okay. So I'm kind of confused because we hear, okay, so the way to become a second class devotee and also an Uttama Adhikari is by chanting the Maha Mantra. But if we don't know how to chant the Maha Mantra, then what's the hope for us? How do we get to that point where we're chanting all the time, and then coming to the second class platform and ultimately the first class platform? Is there a way to teach somebody or everyone how to chant and therefore make them all second class devotees?
As much as we associate with Srila Prabhupada and follow his instructions, then we'll make advancement in devotional service. And all the members of this institution, our prime directive is to help people associate with Srila Prabhupada and follow his instructions. So if we simply repeat, we simply hear what Srila Prabhupada said, we practice it, we repeat it verbatim, and to others, and we encourage them to practice it, to that extent, our movement will be successful and will steadily make progress and will become a movement of preachers, right? Who are happy to do all types of kriyasu, manual labor, to spread this movement all around the universe. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.